Go ahead, brother. Whenever you're ready, you got it.
Okay. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The, the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind of their forefathers, divine and national principles that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by the government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights un- unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government and not under a granted privilege as has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone, and without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need great missionary because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I am dependent on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. All right, all right, boom. I love my people and I desire their unity and mind back to their own national and divine standards, because day by day they have been violating the national constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, Arabians are forced to proclaim free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the laws should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in, deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word colored deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, or dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national names, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought to the North and South in unit, placing the Southerners who were at the time without power and the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments. For the salvation of our people and citizens, boom. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost, and that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lay down together in wander hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. And this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc. In their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world, they will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses, but I have traveled in the South and have examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life, and I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring. Hold on, we shit. I lost. Hold on, man. Where you at? All right, bet. In my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light from the prophet.
Islam. Now
Islam, brother.
I have a question, brother Shalom.
Yeah.
As you were reading that, what comes to your mind as you conclude that?
I mean, I get a feeling of like the prophet want unity of kind of unity in the sense like because he said the lion and the lamb. You feel me? The lion is the hunter, is the king of the jungle, and the lamb represents like I guess a very timid or meek person or whatever. So he I think he's looking for like peace. You know what I'm saying? Equal justice and equality for the Moorish people and peace among the land in the United States, which was originally ours. But he said we can coexist. You know what I'm saying? Y'all give us our respect we deserve. We can coexist in peace and love and truth. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got from it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, what did he mean by that when he said the lion and the lamb could both lay together? That means like some peaceful type thing, right?
Right. Right.
Okay. Am I kind of correct or?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was a great synopsis. You know,
Okay.
in my book, as far as your first time reading it,
Yeah.
he gives instructions on how to go about that as well. You know, and it's also as far as the lion and the lamb, it's also a metaphysical aspect to that, as far as the lion being Aries, dealing with the heart, and the mind dealing with the lamb or the head, and you making your decision making sure your mind and your heart are balanced every time you're making decisions. You don't want to be too in your heart. You be gullible. You don't want to be too headstrong. You come across like you ain't got no emotions. So that that well balanced situation on another level, But all of the above. Did anybody else have any take on the divine warning for the nations that they wanted to share? And also, I wanted to highlight for me what I got out of it before I continued for today's demonstration is that, the civic instruction, intelligent tone. You got something, Rocky?
Oh yeah, I've never read this before, but this is like the first time it kind of really hit. I think for me, what stood out to me was like reclaiming what was lost. And I think this has to do like, it's being a colonized and, enslaved, just our history, like how much of our natural ways were lost, our history was lost, our way of being was lost. And, somewhere says that somewhere, at one point we're going to reclaim that. So it's like, yes, people talk about like trauma or um, generational trauma that's, in our genetic memory, but so is our strength, so is our wisdom, so is that. So it's like unearthing all that, after the colonization, after this history, it's like waking up to ourselves and our spirit. That's kind of what I got from it.
It's awesome, man. All right. So I want to give a demonstration today. And like all demonstrations, it's to have stuff in our tool belt when we're dealing with people that are not in the Moorish paradigm. We want to have things downloaded, competency on history, law, because questions might get thrown at you that you want to be prepared to answer. All right. Let's see, I don't know. I'm going to start demonstration today reading a document called the Civil Orders. Most Moors familiar with this document. I know it should be new for Brother Shalom, Brother Rocky. And the reason I'm reading this is just for context purposes and something you can reach to for reference. You can Google this just by calling it the Civil Orders PDF. This is a document that was issued July 4th, 2014. Issued to all members of the domestic police forces, U.S. Marshal Services, the Provost Marshal, members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Services. These organic American states of the Union, known as the United States of America Major, exercising plenary civil power upon the land, hereby appoint General Carter F. Ham to lead and command the great army of the Republic, acronym GAR, and its successors under the guidance of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and with their full support. Should it be necessary to suppress commercial mercenary forces operating under the guise of being federal government agencies, including, but not limited to, the Department of Homeland Security, the Federal Emergency Management Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms, etc., General Ham shall assume immediate command and control of all armed forces and services owed to the United States of America Major, stationed at North America, and shall join them under his command as the Grand Army of the Republic. All forces of air, land, and sea are to be employed. So before we continue, we see that it's a corporate aspect to the United States distinguished from the organic land, right? That's the term stationed at North America. Any costs or loss suffered as a result of deployment of the Grand Army of the Republic shall be charged as stipulated prior. All efforts shall be made by the Grand Army of the Republic to spare life and property while undertaking any action whatsoever within the states of the Union, without exception. The GAR is uniquely established by these orders to operate on the land of the 50 organic states for the purpose of securing lives and property of the American states and American state citizens. The GAR is not a foreign army and is composed primarily of American state citizens. If required to take field position, the local commanders shall make every effort to communicate the basis of their authority and the reasons for their presence on American state soil to ensure a prompt cessation of hostilities and a widespread understanding of the usurpations and acts of fraud which have led to any conflict. Abdullah, you got something you want to highlight?
I want to go back to last week.
Okay.
Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. Read that part, the basis of their authority. Reread that. Reread that. All shall have, you read something about the basis of their authority upon the land. Where was that?
This document right here?
Yeah, you just read it. You just read it. You read it 30 seconds ago. I'm looking, yeah, I'm all right. Required to take field position. The local commanders shall make every effort to communicate the basis of their authority. Let's go back to, all right, let's look up the first paragraph. This organic American states of the Union, known as the United States of America Major, exercising preliminary, which is full, civil power upon the land. Let's stop there. All right, now, the United States Constitution doesn't give them that power. We're talking about exercise upon the land. Upon the land. United States Constitution doesn't give them United States Constitution does not give the United States power to exercise. That's not the origin of their authority to exercise upon the land. We're talking about upon the land. When we talk, I'm not talking about to exercise as a political body. We're talking about upon the land. That's two different things. I want to be very clear. All right. So we're talking about upon the land. I'm not talking about exercising as a political body. Now, if you're talking about exercising a political body, that's the state's constitution. So that's all right. But if we're talking about upon the land, Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty, we read this last week. Can we pull that back up?
Okay.
Pull that back up from last week. Because this ties in. Because now I've seen that. So we have upon the land, exercising, where do they derive authority to exercise upon the land? Then we have exercising authority as a political body. That's two different questions. Exercising of authority, all right. The California governor or New Jersey state governor, all right, authority to operate, to exercise authority comes from the people through elections through that New Jersey state constitution or South Carolina state constitution. All right. That's we talk that's there. But now we're talking about upon the land. Like all right, what gives the state officials of New Jersey, North Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina State, South Carolina State, Maryland State, Rhode Island State, Massachusetts State, New Jersey State, Commonwealth of Virginia, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. What gives, by what authority, or they'll say, this is New Jersey, this is North Carolina, this is South Carolina. You're driving a car in South Carolina. This is by what authority? By what authority they're making a claim that the land is North Carolina, South Carolina? By what authority are they making that claim?
You talking about like what you was talking about last week when you said about relinquish? They relinquished.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, I'm with you, fam. I'm with you.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Right. So we're talking two different. So we're not talking about the authority for him to operate as a governor. We're not talking about authority for them to operate as state senators. I'm not talking about the authority for them to operate as assemblymen. We're talking about authority on to operate, to make the claim that this is North Carolina. That's two different things. Wow. This is very important. That's why I'm bringing this back up. If you say, well, by what authority do you operate as a governor? Then that's different. That's the New Jersey state constitution or South Carolina constitution. They do elections. All right, that's different. Now we're asking, by what authority are you operating upon the land? That's two different questions. Word. By what authority do they operate upon the land, our land? It's in Article 1. I'm talking about the 13 original states now. Yeah. Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty. New Jersey State, South Carolina State, North Carolina 13. They did not establish anything. They did not establish the boundaries. They did not establish the boundaries by which they're operating in. Wow. Great Britain did. England/Great Britain did. In the 16 and 1700s, under British conquest, discovery, and colonization of our land. Wow. The British Crown, this is what they're operating on. They don't want us to know this. That's why we went to Article 1. You point to Article 1. They're not going to call you crazy. They'll know what you're talking about because you're coming with evidence. Let's look at People versus Godfrey. People versus Godfrey.
People.
You need that is the New York State, the People versus Godfrey. That's the New York 1819 New York State Supreme Court case. The case we went over. The case was that a Army soldier killed an Army soldier on the way to the Barrett.
Okay.
Now, this is a United States military base now. So the federal claimed to have jurisdiction because it's a United States military base. New York State said, is where the base is. And they wait. What? And they had the case. But they waited. New York State Supreme Court waited until they rendered the decision, because they first had to who had jurisdiction, who had territorial jurisdiction to hear the case. Who had territorial jurisdiction? What is that based in? New York State made the claim based on the 1783 peace treaty and the 1795 Jay Treaty, which is the treaty of navigation, commerce, amity, navigation, and commerce between Great Britain and the United States, the 1795. So this is key. This is key. So when you're talking about authority upon the land, it is that definitive peace treaty. There's no ending of colonization. It was relinquished.
Yeah.
You saw that yourself, brother. Relinquish. So the territorial boundaries that's in the New York State Charter, which is the Duke of York. Duke of York, great king. We got to go back to this because this is why they're operating on, bro. This is what they're operating on. Charles II granted his brother, Duke of York, a charter in 1664. When Charles II transitioned, his brother, Duke of York, ascended to the throne in 1689. So this is James II. King James II, was the Duke of York, King James II, ascended to the throne, all right, in 1689. And then he granted another charter, a charter in 1689. The New York State in 1783, through that treaty, that was relinquished. The boundaries that's laid out in the Duke of York's charter in 1664 and 1689, that was now what? Relinquished, and that authority that they would operate on that charter was relinquished to New York State.
Yes.
That's not an ending.
That's a release.
New York State did not establish the boundaries. Great Britain did under conquest. So Great Britain established English British sovereignty on our land through discovery, conquest, and discovery. During the 16 and 1700s, they relinquished that to each of the 13 states. This is what they're operating on the land. So if they say, well, you're in New Jersey, you're in North Carolina, you're in South Carolina, you're driving in Maryland, by what authority are they making that claim? Article 1. They don't want us to know this.
Everybody got that? People versus Godfrey.
Remember, we're talking about upon the land. Remember, it was upon the land. Now, if you're talking about the French zone, the Louisiana Territory, which is the French zone on our land, France in the 1600s, in 1660s, 70s, France established French sovereignty on our land through conquest, discovery, and colonization. France ceded the Louisiana Territory through the Treaty of Fontainebleau to Spain in 1762. Great Britain made a deal. Great Britain made a deal with France, with Spain, to have France cede Louisiana to Spain. So France ceded the Louisiana to Spain. Remember, this is our land now. But remember, we talk about conquest. So France ceded our land, all right, which they conquered through conquest French, and by which they established French sovereignty on our land through French conquest, through French colonization, through French discovery on our land. They ceded that to Spain in 1762 through the Treaty of Fontainebleau. In 1801, Spain retroceded it to Spain. Because Spain, now it goes back in the hands of France. Now, remember, France was in the war with Haiti.
Word.
France was in the war with Haiti in the late 1700s. This all relates, y'all. I'm tying all this together.
Okay.
France was in the war with Haiti, which now war cost.
Yeah. They lost that war, right?
I'm tying all this in. Why did France sell? Why is it called the Louisiana Purchase?
Word.
France needed finance because they were in the war with Haiti. That's why I'm making the connection. France couldn't hold on to it. France needed finance. So they sold it to the United States through the Louisiana Purchase Treaty in 1803. They was in a war with Haiti, which war cost. So what the United States did is establish 15 states. But that doesn't remove the personal rights. The French crown in the 16 and 1700s granted land grants. New Orleans, the courts in New Orleans operate on French civil law to this very day. Why? Why do the courts in New Orleans operate on French civil law? Because those French land grants and letters of patent granted by the French crown during the 1660s, 1670s, 1680s, 1700, 1710 was granted under French civil law. So they're maintaining that. So this is the authority in which they're operating on the land. It's still conquest. It's not by our authority. They're not operating on the land by our authority. They're not operating on the land. It's by conquest. So it was ceded, relinquished to them by what? Occupying sovereigns, France, Spain, Great Britain. It's still conquest. They're operating, but remember, their authority is based on relinquished to them by occupying sovereign. They don't want us to be able to talk like this.
Right.
If you talk like this to one of them, you're going to be educating them. If you talk, you're going to be educating them. They don't know themselves like this because they don't deal with this. They don't deal on this level. I'm talking about the state officials. State judges, state officials. They don't deal on this level. But this is their basis of authority to operate on the land. It's still under conquest. So I'm bringing that up because it's upon. Remember, he read upon the land.
Right. How everybody feeling about that? Everybody digested that?
Yeah, that was dope.
I definitely want them to definitely know that. So we're looking at the 1783 treaty, the 1783 Treaty of Paris. That's the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. The 1795, the J Treaty, which is officially known as the Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation. between Great Britain and the United States. We're looking at the Louisiana Purchase Treaty of 1803 between France and the United States. Then you have the Treaty of Guadalupe between the United States and Mexico, and United States. Now, let's go back. Let's deal with that. That's the Spanish zone. Spanish crown. The Spanish crown established Spanish sovereignty on our land during the 1500s. That's the French zone. That includes California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, other areas in South America, Cuba, Colombia, El Salvador, Costa Rica. All right, you have I think Oklahoma, Colorado. That's the Spanish zone. So you had an establishment of the United States of Mexico. So in 1821, the United States of Mexico now becomes the custodial of the Spanish land grants. The Spanish crown granted Spanish land grants on the conquest, on the Spanish conquest of our land. The Spanish crown granted Spanish land grants to Spanish soldiers and families on our land. They took our land and granted Spanish land grants and partial our land and granted Spanish land grants and letters of patent during the 1600s. The States of Mexico became the custodial of that 1821 through that Treaty of Guadalupe between Mexico, United States of Mexico, and United States. Now that was what? That custodial care to oversee and protect the interests of the Spanish land grants was what? Given to the United States through that Treaty of Guadalupe between United States of Mexico and United States. This is what they're operating on. So our going to the United States, United States Supreme Court, can you remove the interest of the Spanish land grants that the Spanish crown? They can't do that. Can you remove the interest of the Spanish land grants that the Spanish crown granted to this family during the 1560s? They can't do that. They're obligated to that because United States is part of the conquesting interest. It says we have to understand what the United States is. We got to address this in International World Court. We're talking about the decolonization of our land. We don't understand what the United States is.
Yeah.
I'm explaining what the United States is. That's why you got to know what the United States is. That's why I'm walking you through this. I'm walking you through these treaties.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm walking you through these treaties, so you can see, well, where did they gain the authority to operate in what they call North Carolina and Colorado and California and because it wasn't that. The United States carved out those states when they won the war with the United States of Mexico, but that's the Spanish zone. It was the Spain established Spanish sovereignty on our land through Spanish conquest. And the United States of Mexico, all right, became the custodial care of that. And then that was what? Ceded to the so the Spanish zone, all right, was ceded to the United States by the United States of Mexico through the Treaty of Guadalupe of 1854. This is how they're operating. And this is how we have to be able to articulate this.
Yep.
All right. So I just wanted to explain upon the land. Operating, exercising authority upon the land. I want to articulate with specificity.
That's good stuff right there.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Now, to add on to what he was saying, continuing with this document. Oh, Islam, the brother Prince Bay, Lavelle Bay. Yeah, I think that was about it. Peace and love.
Peace and love, brothers. Islam.
I invited Brother Prince.
But okay, peace and love. So, no orders, executive or otherwise, issued by Barack H. Obama, pretending authority on the land of the American states while operating as quote unquote president of the United States Corporation, nor as the quote unquote president of the United States of America minor, are owed any performance by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Ham, or any ordinary. All plainly stated grants of contractual authority evident in the Constitution for the United States of America remain in place, subject to good faith performance of the accompanying obligation and treaties. Mr. Obama is the quote unquote president of the Governmental Service Corporation under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states. So they're supposed to provide services to the organic states.
Let me address that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. This service corporation, this United States, it could be 1,000 United States. You could say 1,000 United States. Just follow me. It doesn't matter. Let's go to Article 1. Let's follow me. Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty. See where I'm going? Now, my question is that you said there's 1,000 United States. I got you. Will the United States stand up that signed in 1783 the Definitive Peace Treaty? You said there's 100 United States. I got you. See, they're playing us. Will the United States stand up that signed in 1783 this treaty between Great Britain and the United States? Will the United States stand up that signed the Articles of Confederation? Will the United States stand up that signed the Declaration of Independence? Let me explain. Because Great Britain only acknowledges that. Great Britain, let's go back to Article 1. Please, bring it up, brother. Please bring it up. Let's bring it up. Because I don't want us to get lost with the 100 United States. Let's bring it up. We're gonna deal with contract. We're gonna deal with contract. Yeah, bring up. Here we go. Yeah, we talking about this United States now. We ain't talking about the 100 of them, the one in Florida and all this other way. All right, we talking about this one. Great Britain only acknowledges this one. Great Britain only acknowledges what? Acknowledges. All right. So Great Britain relinquished to who? The 13 states, right? So the one in Delaware, this was in Delaware in such and such 1933, and Florida such and such year. All right. Great Britain don't acknowledge that. So they don't have no authority to operate upon the land. Only ones that have authority to operate upon the land is this one here. Here we go, Article 1. You see where I'm going with this? We are talking about contract now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, see, we're the United States that was established in 1933. Hold on. Article 1 of the Definitive Peace Treaty of the United States established in 1933. I don't see that here. Yeah, we're the United States that was established, that's registered in Florida. Hold on. Let me show them. Hold on. Yeah, His Britannic Majesty acknowledges the United States established in Florida. Hold on. Hold on. I'm putting my glasses on. His Britannic Majesty acknowledges the said United States established in Florida. Here's United States Majesty acknowledges the said United States established in Delaware. Hold on. I'm not. Can somebody help me out, y'all? Please help me out, please.
All right, so that means basically what you're saying. If it ain't these 13 states that's in this article, they ain't got no juice, correct? That's what the fuck is. Oh, pardon me. That's what you're saying.
No, go ahead, brother. Thank you, brother.
That's what you're saying. Ain't nobody else got no juice but these 13 motherfuckers on the paper.
Now you see
so
why I went through that last week. You see why I went through that last week, brother.
Word. I got you.
That way when that way you point people back to even point to them, even point. Oh no. Well you try. Oh, here we go right here. See, this is the contract.
All right, now I'm about to hit you, OG. Check this out. What do we do if we in one of these motherfuckers? Like I'm in one of them states. I'm in VA.
All right, no, hold on.
Where everything went down at. So like, how am I supposed to? You know what I mean? I got to move real easy out here.
No, hear me out. One, you're
not.
Yeah,
me too. I'm out in Virginia as well. So you know,
that's my man Lavelle. That's brother Lavelle. Yeah, we out here.
You're not in Virginia. You're not in Virginia. Hear me out. You're not in Virginia. Just follow me. You're not in one of the states. Let me go back. Just follow me. The state, it's not the land. Let's back up. It's not, you're not in your talk. Let's back up, brother. Let's back up. In the 1601, all right, just follow me. Nobody was saying this is Virginia in the 1500s. Just follow me. Nobody was saying that this is Virginia in 1300s. No one was saying that this is Virginia in 1100s. No one was saying this is Virginia 4,000 years ago. I'm just trying to I just want y'all to really what I'm doing is stimulated thought, y'all. That's all I'm doing, stimulated thought. So you said that the land is Virginia. I got you. You said that you're in Virginia. You said the land is Virginia. I got you. So, well, was it Virginia 5,000 years ago?
No.
Oh, was it Virginia 4,000 years ago?
No, sir.
3,000 years ago?
No, sir.
1,000 years ago? 700 years ago?
I got you.
So, all right, here we go. Let's go back. Right. In the 1600s, English/Great Britain established English-British sovereignty on our land under conquest, discovery, and colonization. They granted English charters to Virginia Company. we got to take you back so you can make the connection. Virginia Company. London Company. So we got Virginia Company and London Company. Those are company charters. Right. It's not the land. It is British sovereignty. So when they say that it's the British, England/Great Britain established British sovereignty on our land under conquest, discovery, and colonization. If they relinquished that to the Virginia state in 1783, you're not in Virginia. You got it, brother. You got it. I ain't got it. You got it. You got it. Y'all got it. You got it, bro. You got it. You got it. You got it. You ain't you got it, bro. You got it. I ain't got it, bro. You got it. You see how I took it back, brother?
I appreciate
you understand?
That.
Right.
So pretty much what you're saying is this land here is not Virginia at all. And what would it be?
It's Moorish land. I don't know. I'm saying, all right, it's Moorish land. No, I'm saying, all right, it's Moorish land. But when you say it's Moorish land, which it is, what you're challenging is British conquest and colonization on our land that was relinquished to Virginia State. You can't go to Virginia State to make that to challenge. You got to go to the crown. Got to go to King Charles. We have not you as an individual. We as a political body have to address that matter to King Charles. Because King Charles, or that crown, his Britannic Majesty, go to Article 1, his Britannic
was the
Majesty.
one that relinquished the shit in the first place, so they got the power still. Basically, right?
Exactly. That's where they got it from. Where did the Virginia State get it from? Where did Virginia State get it from? Article 1.
Great Britain, yeah.
There you go. See?
Wow.
That's why I had y'all read it last week.
Okay.
And we're doing it again. That's all. So we can make that because Brother Mafi read upon the land. So I said, oh, I gotta take this back. Or I gotta go back to what I did last week so they can make that connection.
Yeah.
That was dope.
They don't want us to be able to think like this, bro.
Yeah, man.
Which I don't care what they want or don't want.
I definitely don't either, but like my brother been telling me, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm learning from the teachers of the prophet, like you gotta be calm, man. You gotta be cool and collective with the enemy. You can't be aggressive because you know what I'm saying?
No, this is being cool and connective. No, brother. I'm with you. I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying to you is our having this knowledge and to know where to go, how to structure the argument, and where to present the argument. I'm saying is that their authority to make the claim that this is New Virginia is based on 18.1, Article 1. I'm saying you having that knowledge, but not you as an individual, brother. I'm not talking as you as an individual saying it. As a political body. I'm never talk, brothers. I never talk individual. I'm teaching, all right, this body here. But I'm talking facilitating political government structure. We have to increase our knowledge.
Word. And in order for something to happen, like you said, everybody gonna have to squad up and go to Great Britain and present all that information to the crown.
No.
That's not what you said? Okay.
No, I didn't say no. I didn't say everyone.
You lost me then. I'll be real.
No, I didn't say everyone. No, I didn't say everyone. We don't need everyone. We need government.
A few competent Moors, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. That's all I didn't want to. I want to be very clear. I didn't say everyone. We need a national governing body. That doesn't include everyone. We can address that. All right. We can. All right, as a national governing body, but we definitely. All right. She asking me. Bacola's asking me for the name of. Let me be back on. I'm trying to get her in. She's trying to get in. Hold on.
Okay. But yeah, just having this info for the tool belt, as the brother was saying, as we talking to the common man and woman, we're gonna have these things on file, you know, because questions can come from any angle, and you just want to be prepared. Because at the end of the day, it's strength in numbers. At the end of the day, government takes people. Right. So we need our people to know this information and get part of the organization and competency, right? Most should know this, but this is repetition. Because I actually been getting questions about this with a couple of the members. The whole AA 22141 corresponding with the corresponds to. We're dealing with Title 22, foreign relations and intercourse.
Bacola's trying to get in. She put in the password and all that. What is the name? So she can look it up by. What is the name of the? Is it by name or you just have password, meeting ID and password?
Yeah, it's meeting ID and password. Yeah,
There's no particular name that you registered under.
no, no. What's
All right.
I could try sending her a link.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Send me the link so she can click on. Thank you. Just yeah, send me the link. I'll send it to her. Thank you.
What I need her.
You need what you need. What do you need? Pecola, PECOLA 007 at AOL.com.
Hold on 1 second.
Yes, I'll stay on. PECOLA 007 at AOL.com. That's her email.
PECEOA.
No, yeah. PECOLA 007
007.
007 at AOL.com. There you go. That's it. That's her. Yep, there you go. So I'll let her know she got that right on, my man. Thank you.
Yep. Where's he at?
Yep, thank you. I'm calling right now.
All right, Slime.
No.
See the shipping. Oh, no, here we go. So once again, AA 222141 corresponding to foreign relations. People were asking me how it correlates to the taxes and with at the cashier and the register and all that type of stuff. But we want to know what it's talking about in its entirety. So this is the entirety. Title 22, Foreign Relations and Intercourse, page 954. Chapter 2, dealing with consular courts. Section 141, dealing with judicial authority generally. To carry into full effect the provisions of the treaties of the United States of America with certain foreign countries, the ministers and consuls of the United States and China, etc., Morocco. That's our position. And the territory formerly known as the Ottoman Empire. Duly appointed to reside therein shall, in addition, and other powers and duties imposed upon them, respectively, by the provisions of such treaties, respectively, be invested within the judicial authority described in this chapter, which shall pertain to the office of minister and consul, and be a part of the duties belonging thereto within, and so far as the same allowed by treaty, and in accordance with the usages of the country in their intercourse with the Franks or other foreign Christian nations, etc. General jurisdiction in criminal cases. The officers mentioned, who were the officers? Consul, minister. We're talking about elected officials of a nation state and representatives, right? And that's what the brother was saying, the importance of being part of a body as well, to even exercise, to even invoke any of this stuff. And that's the whole point of being competent, to wake the people up so we can form the body to go to the next step, right? The officers mentioned in section 141 of the title are fully empowered to arraign and try, in the manner provided for in this chapter, all citizens of the United States charged with offenses against law committed in such countries, respectively, and to the sentence of such offenders in the manner in this chapter authorized. And each of them is authorized to issue such processes are suitable and necessary to carry to this authority. So now I know probably everybody doesn't have a certified copy of the treaty. It's good to have one on file, just to have court of record, things of that nature. But this is the actual treaty. So why did I read Title 22 first? Because it's dealing with, for one, aspects of the Constitution that we went over a couple weeks ago, Article 3, Section 2, any disputes with citizens of two different nation states. It's talking about a level of court, which is federal, Supreme Court. What other elements are in Title 22? The whole ambassador aspect, the whole elected official, the body politic aspect, group economics, group politics, group, nation state, however you want to put it, right? Any questions on that? There's other congressional records that we can reference when we're dealing with just the common people. We're using logic, we making sense, sound-minded information on the historical account of America. Here's a congressional record. You can reference U.S.-Morocco Peace Treaty, where it states, Mr. Casey, Mr. President, I would like to take this occasion to extend congratulations to His Imperial Majesty Mohammed VI and the people of Morocco on the 225th anniversary of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the United States and the Kingdom of Morocco. Now, they slid that in there to be slick, but it was no Kingdom of Morocco at this time of the treaty, 1780-ish. Negotiations for this treaty began in 1783, and the draft was signed in 1786. Future presidents John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were the American signatories. The treaty was then presented to the Senate, which ratified it on July 18, 1787, making it the first treaty to receive U.S. Senate ratification. The treaty represented the second time that Morocco and the United States affirmed diplomatic relations between the two countries. It is also worthy of mention that the Sultan Muhammad III was the first head of the state, and Morocco, the first country to recognize the new United States as an independent country, 1777. Why am I referencing this? Is you have tool belts where you can reference to people like, look, this is just in their congressional records of an empire taking place in America. The position of our people and their people. Once again, another Your Majesty reference. We've seen it. Most of us, I believe, we read the George Washington's letter to the Sultan. Now you tie that into this, right? Any questions on this? It's pretty straightforward.
Straightforward.
It's something that caught my eye right here too. President George Washington wrote to Sultan Muhammad III on December 1st, 1789. That's the letter. So the letter is actually in this congressional record that we've read weeks ago as well. Just to show you it wasn't just a letter that was R.V. Bay just made up or something. It's a congressional record where that came from. What's this? Oh, this is citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. I'm reading an aspect of this, which is on the same footing of res judicata, etc., just the context of these lands, right? There are, strictly speaking, no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. Let me rewind that and just let the Empress in. There are, strictly speaking, no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code. So they're talking about America. It's not a Christian. This is Islamic in ancient origin, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire by means of which citizenship of this country is defined. We're reading citizenship of the United States and expatriation. This is a document that we're reading from. By means of which citizenship of this country is defined. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report upon such lines, I will therefore confine these remarks to general conditions existing, which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. 1, citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure Moorish subjects. Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moroccan Empire. And that's where the brother read, which you read, Shalom, in the divine warning, there's no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment. The 14th and 15th Amendment, for one, is fraud. Why? Because how many Bill of Rights are there? 10, not 14. So that's fraud. The other reason is the United States is not a nationality of people. If you believe that, you rewarded a state mind. Any questions on this document?
Nah, brother, that's pretty straightforward.
You can reference this document now. Citizenship of the United States, expatriation. What section is this? Page 459.
Page 459.
Oh, and page 460 is another key page. Nobody else has any thoughts on this? Is it clear how we can utilize this? Informational purposes. Rather, you may be a certain jurisdiction. You may just be sharing information to a potential brother or sister. And they might end up joining government structure or want to learn more about it. I'm going to transition to the Zodiac Constitution. A couple people have been asking about this. Oh, and while we're on this, AA 22141, we just read an aspect of it. Here's another aspect, as a brother CM Bay logged this document in the Library of Congress. In this document, it talks about taxes, because that's the whole thing why a couple brothers have been hitting me up about the taxes thing, how they're related to this number. So here's another aspect of this number. We just went through Title 22, Chapter 2, Section 141. Now we're going to look at it on this tip. The Zodiac Constitution. Moorish adepts, Moorish scientists, master masons, Eastern stars, sheiks, sheikesses, neophytes, Great Seal, PhD, LLDs, the erudite of jurisprudence, Emmanuelist masters, and world scholars have studied and marveled upon analyzing the written Zodiac Constitution. This highly qualified document was penned by C.M. Bay, a 3rd, 33rd, and 360 degree free Moorish master mason, master astrologer, PhD, LLD, and constitutional lawgiver. Let me check the chat real quick. Islam, peace and love. Empress Pecola L, peace and love. This master work was copyrighted and registered in the Library of Congress Copyright Office with the Department of Justice at Washington, D.C., the United States Republic of North America. There are interesting and effective literary characteristics about C.M. Bay's written Zodiac Constitution which go beyond the fact of its being clear, simple, and direct. Moorish scholars will take note that it maintains the ancient Moabite Moorish scientific, metaphysical, and spiritual approach to the number 7 in harmony with natural constitution of man's makeup. Other learned intellectuals of the varied and advanced Gnostic schools of the world and of government no doubt must appreciate its uncluttered directness and integrity towards justice. The written Zodiac Constitution was not readily available to the masses due to the nature of limited access to more schools of learning and the suppression of information practices of Union State Society politicians and other secret societies, policies of clubism culture. The true history and law of North America has never been revealed to the subject subjugated masses. This anti-social practice is a part of the necessary socialization tools for maintaining veiled economic, political, and bureaucratic servitude in the Americas, particularly in North America. Let us be qualified in our understanding that the Zodiac Constitution is not just the actual written 7-article document as presented to you for reading historical analysis and law. Study. The general populace must have access to that consciousness involving the true history and scientific foundation of civilization and culture on the Earth planet. Thusly, one immediately and wisely recognizes that what actually compromises the Zodiac Constitution and the elemental nature of what inspired C.M. Bay to produce the exclusively complex scale of this compact and evidentiary treatise on right law government structure. What comprises the Zodiac Constitution is expressed and revealed in the first opening paragraph of Article 1 as written by C.M. Bay. His literary works have come manifest by way of knowledge of the Zodiac or workings of nature, the Moabite Moorish code for civilization, and the sciences mentioned. And one can surmise that astrology, the 12 signs of the Zodiac, an expression of the code of mathematic scales involving the number 0 through 9, the science of geometry, and the Arabic alphabet comprise Moabite Moorish science, the culture and foundation of civilization on planet Earth. A logical study of the Zodiac Constitution should generate years of research and recovery of world culture and true American history for all who seek the truth. Let us affirm our honor for our ancient mothers and fathers, embrace knowledge and shun ignorance, help to uplift fallen humanity. Assalamu alaikum. Article 1. The 12 signs of the Zodiac, the code of mathematics scaling from 0 to 9, the science of geometry comprise the constitution of the living Moorish nation of North America, referred to as Negroes who ruled the world, and the 7 seas by the 12 signs of the Zodiac and the science of geometry. For 1196 years to the Amazon Dutch German Catholic priesthood, fathers of the Revolution of 1789, and the Sisterhood Magna Charta, Emancipation Proclamation, Union Society of White Supremacy in 1863, North America. The 12 jurymen of the 50 Union State Society and also the 9 judges of the Supreme Court were founded upon Moorish nation's 12 signs of the Zodiac Constitution and mathematics scaling from 0 to 9. Thus, without our Moorish Constitution, the Magna Charta, Emancipation Proclamation, Union Society of the myth of white supremacy definitely could have been founded in 1863. Article 2, Zodiac Constitution, Birthrights, Moorish American, the Bays and L's. Let me check the chat. I see something in the chat here. Let me check the chat. We got Sister Picola L. The usage of the supposed AA 22141 is isolated by C.M. Bay. Limited usage to the Constitution was for members, quote unquote members. Initially, it was for the Clock of Destiny members with a bachelor degree. It was initially for membership. I just finished a law class with H.E. Nakeem Bay, Sultan for COD. Definitely truth within. However, chapter 22, section is relative to paper doc for maybe if you want to elaborate, sister, on that, just for clarity, make sure everybody is clear where you're coming from. Empress Picola, did you want to elaborate on that? Because I would definitely need some more light on what you were talking about. I can't hear you. I see your lips moving. Let me see. Yeah, I can't hear you. It says connecting to audio. I'll just continue if you end up getting through, we'll revisit. Since the 12 jurymen of the 50 Union States Magna Charta document of white supremacy and the 9 judges of their Supreme Court were founded upon our Moorish zodiac 12 signs, mathematical constitution, the lawmakers have no jurisdiction over the free Moors, the Bays and L's, in the inherited land of the Moorish nation, namely U.S.A, Canada, Central, and South America. The Moorish American nationality and their surnames, Bay and L, are their inherited birthrights without a legal due process of the lawmakers of the Union Society, USA. What our Moorish forefathers were, we are today, without doubt or contradiction, namely Moorish. Article 3, this is the article that I'm highlighting as far as questions that I've been getting pertaining to tax non-obligatory, well, they've been saying tax exempt, but non-obligatory status as it connects to AA 22241, AA 222141. Tax and military exemption for Moorish Americans. The Moors, referred to as Negroes, definitely can never become members of the citizens of the Union Society of the 48 states. Therefore, they cannot be forced to draft into Union, USA Army, or military service to fight for the Magna Charta Code of the white supremacy against themselves. The lawmakers of the 48 state Union order cannot force the Moors, the Bays and L's, to pay taxes because taxation without representation is a supreme violation of the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, birthrights of Islam. When the Union lawmakers denounce their immoral Magna Charta Code and resort to the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, the Moors are compelled to pay taxes because everyone of the nation will be equally represented by it. There is no room in the science of masonry or the zodiac for mystic god, religious worship, race, color, ignorance, wartime slavery, and human injustice. Now, by it being recorded, by this document being recorded, just like other documents from the Library of Congress, such as treaties, congressional records, letters, like I said, the letter from George Washington, treaty of, like the brother mentioned, Bernardo, I can't talk right now, but the Treaty of Guadalupe, these things you can get congressional records and certified copies of. And the reason that's important is it's a measure, you in a court of record, you could reference it to substantiate your position. Now, since we're dealing with taxes, like I told a couple more that I was talking to about this, where it says Indians not taxed, clearly we know we're not Indians. We covered multiple documents to show that it's really more. But once you show a House resolution of any jurisdiction that talks about our people being Aboriginal and indigenous to North, Central, and South America, and you put that next to that, along with this document, along with the rights of indigenous people, you can talk to any higher up of any department store, they're going to give you the taxes off. It's not really a big deal like that. And then they'll be like, oh, what's the reference number? So when you go to the cashier, we can identify you. Oh, AA 22141. That's that. But I'm gonna continue. Any questions on that? Any comments? Any other elaboration or thoughts?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I put in the chat the 1952 case between France and United States in the International Court of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most favored nation clause. There, United States lost the case, and as a result of the United States losing the case, the United States Congress had to repeal Title of the United States Code. United States Congress had to repeal the Title 22, Section Title 22, Chapter 2, Section 140, 141, 142. They had to repeal that. President Eisenhower, enforcing that act of Congress, closed the United States consular courts in Morocco. So we start with the 1952 case. 1952 case, which is the most favored nation case in the National Court of Justice. United States loses the case. United States Congress, as a result of losing the case, we're just talking about chain of authority. So we got the International Court of Justice. United States loses the case. Now, United States Congress, all right, as a result of losing that case, has to repeal that act. Repeal that. It's Title 22, Chapter 2, Section 141, 142. The white now it goes down, handed down to Eisenhower, all right, to enforce it. So Eisenhower closes the United States Constitutional Court, all right, in Morocco. All right, so there. Now, if you look at the United States, if you read Title 22, because it's been repealed. If you look at Title 22, Chapter 2, Section 141, 142, it's for United States consuls, not for Moorish consuls. We have to enact our own law. That's for you. I want y'all to pull it back up. Because I don't want them to say Abdullah said anything. It reads for United States consuls, not Moorish consul, because United States don't have authority. United States consuls, United States Congress does not have authority to draft legislation that says for Moorish consuls. Yeah, Moorish consuls. Moorish consuls. All right, Chinese consuls. United States Congress is enacting law. Chinese consuls have to do this, this, and this. French consuls have to do this. United States don't have that authority. That's the French parliament. That's the Chinese parliament. United States, that's for United States consuls. I was there too, man. I was there too. I just want to clarify. So we're starting with the 1952 case. So I want people to look that up. 1952 case between France and the United States in the International Court of Justice. France won the case. France stood on Moorish treaties. Three types of treaties. There were three types of treaties that France stood on to win her most favored nation clause case. The first type of treaty, this is in the case summary. The first type of treaties are the primary treaties between Morocco and 10 European powers between 1631 to 1892. The second type of treaties that was used to this, let me back up. The treaties were used to determine, the treaties were examined and used to determine the extent of United States extraterritorial jurisdiction in Morocco. The first type of treaties that were examined to determine the extent of the United States extraterritorial or extraterritorial consular jurisdiction or compensatory, all right, in Morocco was the primary type of treaties between Morocco and 10 European powers. That includes Belgium, France, United States, Portugal, the Netherlands, four or five others. And then the second type of treaties were the conventions, two conventions. That's the Act of Algeciras of 1907 and the Act Protect Morocco 1880. The third type of treaties that was used to determine the extent of the United States extraterritoriality consular jurisdiction in Morocco is the Fez Treaty 1912. France stood on Moorish treaties to make her most favored nation claim. So there's conscious Moors who make the claim that the treaties are old. The treaties are old, so they are right, but that's not what they mean. That's not what those conscious Moors mean. When conscious Moors, because the statement is correct, but that's not their intended meaning. The statement is correct. The treaties are old, so that's a factual statement. So I can't refute that. That's a factual statement. That's not their intended meaning. their intended meaning, these content Moors, there's some content Moors, their intended meaning is when they say it's old, they mean it expires. They're no good no more. They just say old. But what they really mean to say, means the intended meaning, is that they have expired. So when the conscious Moors say that, you go to the 1952 case, all right? Read the case summary, the 1952 case, and France stood on those old treaties and won her case. That's your evidence. There's no back and forth. I don't do the back and forth. I don't need to do. I just present the evidence. I mean, if you're doing back and forth, that means you don't have evidence. If you're going back and forth with somebody, that means you're not presenting evidence. Just present the evidence.
Yeah,
so when I hear people go back and forth, I observe people and they go back and forth, I mean, they're not presenting evidence. They just, I'm like, oh, why don't they present evidence? Just present the evidence.
Yeah, this is what you're talking about earlier, Abdullah, as far as Eisenhower too. I wanted to bring that up so everybody could see that.
Yeah. But I want to be clear that it didn't start with that. It didn't start with that. It started in the International Court of Justice. So like if you were doing a flow chart, you would start with the International Court of Justice, right? So this is the flow chart. International Court of Justice, 1952 case between France and the United States. France loses the case. The United States loses the case. Then you draw an arrow, that's a flow chart, down to United States Congress, repealing the act. Then you draw a flow chart to President Roosevelt closing and enforcing that act, enforcing the repealment, closing down, United States Consular Courts in Morocco. You just do a flow chart. Because flow charts help too, you know what I mean? Right. And Pecola is correct, and she has employed me to use flow charts, because flow charts, and that's why you saw that flow chart I've sent you with showing the 1783 case between the treaty between Great Britain and the United States. I did a flow chart. All right. Yeah. So flow charts really are very effective.
Yeah. If you can do one.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that flow chart right there. What I just said. That's yes. I've had Momin do that flow chart for me. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And I want to thank Pecola. I want to thank Pecola for putting that in the chat. All right, to facilitate this discussion.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Empress. Appreciate that. And to go along with what he's saying, the whole this document, the Zodiac Constitution, I look at it as something you can use tactically. A couple Moors have used it. Like I say, what I've been getting this week is the whole taxes off at the register. So in this context, you can utilize this. There's Moors that utilize it. Me personally, I'm not concerned about that, like 7 cents off every whatever purchase. But I know Moors that utilize this, and Moors who are interested in that. There's a way you can go about it. The OAS, Organization of American States, Inter-American Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, the whole Indians not taxed, and the resolution, articulating that at the management level of a department store with this document, they're going to have you set up where you're not taxed. That was my point with this demonstration.
Islam?
Oh, there you go, Empress. We can hear you now.
You got me. Okay. Yes, Islam, peace to everybody. I was actually trying to locate the document on my phone, which is certified copies of the Clock of Destiny registered in Washington, D.C. I have those documents here. And one of those documents at the very top, it states a stamp on Winseam Bay registered those documents to go into the Library of Congress. It is definitely fitting to be on that flow chart, because you'll see that I believe it was like 1952. It was right there, either before or after the International Court of Justice with France versus United States. It's all right there in the same timeline. So he actually put the Zodiac Constitution and all of that on the record. Like I said, I'm trying to be more accurate by giving you that that date, that stamped. But on the document itself, at the far right, it actually has the same number. And I was like, okay, now how could this be? Because those numbers are issued by whoever registers your intellectual property or whatever, in Washington, D.C. So there'd be no way that they just happen to be the same number that Moors are using, the AA 222141. Like, it makes no sense. That document is for personal registration of personal property. He registered his personal property for copyright at the Library of Congress. And I just did the class. I mentioned to you that I did a not contract treaty class. I did a class with Ambassador Bay, and he's the Sultan of the Clock of Destiny, and was just looking at the document. And I said, when I went to the Library of Congress, I asked about CMB. They pulled him up on the computer, and what was registered was his personal property. So I knew 6-7 years ago that what he put on the record was his property. But also, when I read it, it stated it for members. And I was like, oh my God, these Moors, what are they doing? I was just coming into more science, and I have a higher education. So I knew that. I was like, okay, I got over a bachelor's, but you're telling me that to be a member of Clock of Destiny and to use these materials, you have to have a bachelor's degree? Like, what are the Moors doing? They're using these guys' document and trying to make it valid. This makes no sense. So I was really trying to be as accurate as I could when I started doing my research coming into the Moor science, because I've been in 7-8 years now, and I just, I just want to be beyond the deception, and I don't want us to be deceptive in our findings. I want us to be right and exact, because we have to wake up the next generation and the next, and so we don't want to be perpetuating untruth. That's not what we're about. So just to let you know that the document, that AA 222, that's a stamp that's at the top of his registration document. And I was one of those. I do medical travel. I actually was in Detroit, Michigan a couple of years ago. And I was making some significant moolah, and I didn't want to get taxed. I don't want you taking, if I work, they can take $1,000 a month of taxes out of me. So I don't want them tampering with my fiat. So I did what Jamal, Jamal, Rise of the Wars.
Yeah, I think she
got to come back on. Yeah, it's probably, yes.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Oh, she's on.
Yeah, you back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Islam?
Yeah, Islam.
Yeah, I did what Jamal had and Jalissa had suggested, that, okay, when you do your I-9, you want to make sure you're tax exempt, even though they call us Indians. We're not really Indians. And so I was confused about that, because I was like, okay, I know I'm not an Indian, and an Indian is a ward of the state, and an Indian is a British subject. At the time, I didn't knew the British subject part, but I knew an Indian. If you go by that, that's another trademark. You award your British subject. Okay. But otherwise, you're still a ward of the state. So I knew that I didn't want to mark that down. But the way they had me do it was get the I-9, which is an employment document. And on one of the spaces, make yourself foreign to the United States Corp. And put that Truth 222141. I put that. Those people were so confused. I gave them all kind of paperwork too. Utterly confused. And at this point, I didn't want to jeopardize my job. So I was like, how far am I going to push this? They had me to call Homeland Security. I called Homeland Security. They wanted to know, what is the purpose of doing the number? Like, what was that? They didn't even know. And I said, well, I am Moorish American, and I'm foreign to United States Corporation. And they said, is it for tax purposes? And I said, yes. Let me tell you, my job canceled. So let's talk to your employer. They canceled my job. I think I was making $2,500 a week. So you see, I have to be right and exact with what I'm doing with all of this. Yeah, I lost my job because they weren't going to haggle with me over paying taxes, because if in fact the Susquehanna Trust, or the trust that they created on our straw man, is accurate, the only way that the corporation can eat is if they go into the trust, which means I had to use the Social Security number. They can't get paid unless they're going into your trust. And I saw the document that proved that. I saw a document a couple of years ago. The brother has it in Brooklyn. That document is a end of the year report that every employer do. And I believe it's line 13 that they put the entire salary that they get from your paycheck on that line 13. I believe it's 13. And it shows it as a gift tax or something like that. So they actually get paid out of each of our, that's what they say. You getting your own money out of the own trust and all of that. But anyway, I yield. I just wanted to share that with you. That number is directly related to the registration when CMB placed that document in the Library of Congress, and that document is the Clock of Destinies book, and it's it's a couple other pages. I got 3 pages, 3 documents that were certified of what he registered. So this is separate. This is a individual personal documents that he prepared. He is the author of that. So I just want to share that with you. Moors are not using it properly. They just, we just have to deal with it little by little by little, with correcting. Yeah.
So essentially, just to summarize and make sure everybody clear, this document that I'm reading, when you try to find it, you're saying that it's not going to pop
up. The document that you're showing on the screen right now?
Yes, the Zodiac Constitution. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You're not saying that.
The Zodiac Constitution is a registered trademark of CMB. And okay. This symbol, that's an @ symbol, was supposed to be @ that AA 222141, mm-hmm. Library of Congress, Washington, D.C. That number is stamped on my copy. That's a number given for that registration of that document. Contrasting the France versus United States International Court of Justice case, that case where the United States lost, forced their hand into coming back to Congress to enact a legislation to be in compliance with the International Court of Justice ruling. And so they had to dissolve the Moroccan court on the land. And it's registered up under the document that you showed, which is council relations and intercourse. And it's something like up under chapter 2, it had to be repealed. So up under chapter 2, section 2, subsection 141, and it's a couple other subsections, and it states for the United States. So that number is related to the chapter of the legislation that they had to enact to be in compliance with the International Court of Justice. So we're talking about a very similar number. One is a whole lawsuit related to a whole lawsuit. That other number is stamped on the registration documents in the year 2000, in the year 1952. It's almost the exact year that CMB put this on the record. But the Library of Congress gave him that number because it was written in some kind of book or something like that. It was registered as his intellectual property. It's his property. He's an author. He wants to.
Right. Okay. No, we're on the same page. We're on the same page now. I just want to make sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, my reasoning for bringing this up is for like at the register, you go to the store, you know, no taxes off. You can pretty much, you don't even have to use this document. I'm just saying, I know more as I have. It's more about being competent and laying in the foundation of you're indigenous to America, therefore I'm not taxed.
Yeah,
and there's ways to do that where they'll take it off on that type of level at the register type stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can share with you again, the mind that I have today is not the mind that I had yesteryear dealing with the knowledge of Moorish birthright and nationality. We need truth on all levels, even amongst ourselves, with ourselves. And as we're trying to, well, some of us are ready to engage in the proper course in order to restore the government or restore ourselves post-millennium. We're on the road to trying to do that. And that would entail a united front, not necessarily individual victories. Individual victories are great, but our Moorish birthright is much more precious than I used it for. I got tax write-offs all the time. I showed them my Moorish, because I was part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So I showed them my Moorish Science Temple of America card. I have ID card from RV Bay. And of course, on there, it says, not tax. And so I hand that to the people. And so this is the process that I was doing. Because obviously, you have a big ticket item, you don't want to pay taxes on it. I had dental implants, for heaven's sakes. I actually used my tax status. I said, I'm Aboriginal Indigenous. And she said, oh, I said, not only that, I'm a veteran. I said, so you got veteran discounts? They were like, let me check. And then I said, well, I'm Aboriginal Indigenous. Here's my card. See? And so I actually got my my dental implants without taxes. So it's many levels to this awakening.
Yes.
And that is a level of where it's at. And the people that are forging in front, we are actually trying to get rid of the bushes and try to get ourselves where we need to engage with the right people, right platform in order to help our people. See, everybody is not able to hold conversation as we are and to understand what some of the dynamics. I mean, I'm still struggling with some of the dynamics, but I kind of got a better grasp of things, that we must be pushing political unity. We have to. We have to have representation, because there is no reason why an individual has to go to court and keep getting beat up. And not only that, I had a very difficult time listening to my conference call of the MSTFA, because they were like, we have to enforce the Constitution. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so ready to get off this call. Because they haven't grown. They haven't grown to know it's not our Constitution. It's not our government. We are up under subjugation. You got to do the study to know. You must study to know. I got to Circle 7. I said, we're part and parcel of their shared government. I'm like, nope, that's not right. It's not right. And again, if we all sing Ring Around the Rosie, our voices are echoing Ring Around the Rosie. We just know Ring Around the Rosie. It's a great song. It feels good. Everybody's singing it together. No, we're off tune. We're off tune. So anyway, I yield. So yeah, there is ways that people can use it. What's most important is trying to gain post-millennium and trying to get this process going for political unity, so that our numbers are high, our voices are high, so that we can get our teams together. We need like minds to try to help with, supporting the Shem Malachi Bay plan. We need that. We need people that are capable, capable of doing some research, capable of doing some study. We need that, and again, we're already on another level just having this discussion, but some of the documents which have been available has been misused. Even the document, I got this document from a Grand Sheik, is page 510. That document is Lincoln's philosophy on common sense, and they talk about in the if you read the document, you can see it. It's about 5 times that it says the Moorish people were instrumental in making the Constitution, like the white people were. It's clear as day on that document. That's not us. We had Moors that came over here, like Moors that brought Europeans over here. So if those Moors are British subjects, all of them, and they're getting ready to go to war, why wouldn't you, if you had an Albion and had to fight for the freedom, why wouldn't he stand next to his, national comrade and fight? And then after all the dust is cleared, they decided that, you have equal rights. Then it would be proper to say that the Europeans, the Europeans and the Moors, what Moor? A Moor that's an American Moor? A Moor that is a British subject? Which one? Those are British subjects. That wasn't us that made the Constitution with the Europeans. So even that document had me about a year. It took me about a year to figure that out. And I kept asking the brother Dula. He was like, listen, I got time for that. I got to do my book. He had all kind of stuff going on. So he's the only one that was competent enough to give me an answer. I was like, he's not giving me an answer to this. This makes no sense. And I said,
we've always had discussions. We stimulated your thought.
Well, you did something. Thinking. I think I was annoyed, to be honest. I was just annoyed that you didn't try to help me figure this out. And it was in my own private time, in my own space. And just like Einstein, when he did E equals MC squared, they said, how'd you get that? And he said, when I wasn't thinking. That's how I came up with E equals MC squared. So that's the same thing happened to me. I actually was my own business. And one day, very quietly, it just creeped up like, wait a second. On one hand, the Moors are seeing that the Moors made this Constitution along with the Europeans. On the other hand, here's an actual material evidence that says it. The Moorish people were instrumental in making the Constitution. And I said, but what about it being a third factor? how about this? And that's what I came up with. Like, you're all British subjects. The British Moors, the Blackamoors, you brought their Slavs with you. They wanted their freedom at a certain time when you guys were rebelling with the crown. British are coming, British are coming. Okay, time to fight. Everybody picked up arms. After all was said and done, you fought for your nation. Yes, you get your freedom. So that's what came to me. So
Islam.
Anyway, Islam.
And I really, it was for the brother Lavelle. Hey, brother Shalom, tell brother Lavelle, man, he supposed to be on here right now because I went into this whole, he wanted taxes off at the register, but but ultimately on the grand scheme of things, here at Khalifa Society, that's what we about. I'm pretty much boots on the ground 5 days a week doing missionary work. Most of the members I done met organically through conversation by doing pop-ups, introducing a book that I wrote, stuff like that. So we're trying to, it's about politics. It's really about that. I just, Sundays is for like miscellaneous questions. It's people just fresh to this information. It's not everybody, on different levels, and it's going to continue to people as we move forward here. That's going to come, and that just, we're getting sharp. It's the dojo right here. So, eventually we'll have competency on a level where we can make international plays and things of that nature. That's the goal for sure. But I feel like me personally, where I'm at, I'm trying to have it where there's more around me, like when the prophet was alive, physically, and a network where I'm dealing with like on Zoom, but for a lot of different reasons, I don't want it to just be Sunday. I want it to be more Monday through Friday. It's Bays and L's. And we got a district. We thriving with business. We self-sustaining.
Yes.
Got an ecosystem. Then we can make that appeal to the international level because it's something to take serious. We're working together. We've been showing and proving over years that they got this. They got a farming. They can employ their own people. Oh man, I feel like it's levels. And my piece to the movement is that getting that uniting the people, getting that structure.
That's foundational, brother.
Yeah,
that's foundational, and that's well, you can't go up unless you bend down, if that makes any sense. So in saying that very basic level where we're all at and where you're saying your focus at, that is paramount and critical to even moving up. So literally political unity within your provincial government, your local government is necessary. I was sharing with the brother that, it's got to be more outreach. It's got to be more campaigning to wake the people up, to give the people literature, create literature to pass out. It's got to be something more. It's got to be something more to reach the people, because we cannot budge unless we have the consent of the people. Even if the document was prepared, the Shem Malachi Bay plan is pretty much already done. It's just needs some editing and some other stuff to it. We couldn't budge unless we actually have a permanent population. So doing what you're doing is extremely critical. It's extremely critical. Brother Abdullah, was the brother one of the locations when I was talking about the Circle City, the Circle 7 City Tour?
Well,
I this California? Is this the California?
Well, yes, because we have got before connected with Brother Mafi. I've had, in fact, DuPont connected me with Brother Mafi. He was on last week on Mafi. DuPont told me about you, and then I reached out to you, but I already had Kawaza and DuPont and Brother Saeed is out there, so forth. So, all right, and then of course, Sirius was on last week. He's the love for the love of Moors uh, Telegram group. He has connections, and I connected him with all those California connections, even with Brother Mafi. All right, so it's definitely growing. Mm-hmm.
So the question is, did I include California? Did I include Arizona in the projected plan of the seven
I think so,
cities?
because I did tell you about Brother by Sirius, and then also my California connections.
Mm.
And then, like I said, my Mafi is the my new connection, a very very strong, powerful connection.
Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that. I don't hold your time up for that, but anyway, so you're going to be extremely instrumental in trying to reach your people, but also one of the game plans is as you're building your provincial local government, as you're building that and waking your people up, that the plan is that we try to assist somehow, some way with your community outreach, and in a specific period of time next year, um, rotating to your location and doing a small convention. And that small convention will be like a Moorish convention, whereas it will be assisting you with your advertisement for reaching your people, having the key speakers to come, and making it like a Moorish ball, very, very similar to what Abdullah and them are actually doing with this other event coming in May. They have an event coming in May. My event, or what I was going to contribute, had to do with, we need the consent of the people. See, at the end of the day, we need the people consent to bringing this issue to United Nations and to the International Court of Justice. We have to have the people. And so that's why what I was getting at is like, let's designate 7 cities, call it the Circle 7 City Tour. And that tour is for helping to stimulate the people into political unity, into the restoration of the Moorish, the Moorish law state. So basically, I haven't got the exact term but for this conversation, you're critical. You're critical in your nation building locally. That's critical, because once we join with that and join with the rest of them, then we'll have at least signatures to say we have a permanent population of Moors that want to restore their lost estate. They want to restore their empire, or their nation state.
Right,
so
right.
We're all at the bottom. We're all at the bottom. Even though we may talk high up, the plan is to move up, but you can't. I mean, it's almost like the family. Political unity is what it is. We have to have political unity amongst ourselves. I need to know you, you need to know me, and we need to know each other as an extended tribe, an extended group. So yeah, this is, it's really important for us to kind of think in terms of that, and we can walk, but, when you're in a race for just in a race of life, you want to see where you are in that race. You want to see if you're the tortoise or if you're that hare. You have to see if you want to go on this terrain over here, or you want to cross the river, float on a log and go across the river. You got to see where you want to be at when all these dynamics are going on around you. And that's why I say that people that have the foresight of leadership and have done research, and we're fortunate to have Shem in the forefront, because he is a paralegal. He's familiar with processes of international law, and if I had to take and stay put, or get on a spaceship and travel, and that spaceship would be Shim driving it, I would have to lead an earth plane and go airborne, because I know that the process that he is trying to facilitate is really the only hope. There is no way. We have millions of people thinking that this is our government. We have millions of people that are still AMBCs, African Americans, Blacks, Negroes, and coloreds. We still got people there. So that's why, wherever your strength is, be where you be, work that, for other people, they know where they're at. But at the end of the day, we should all be sitting at the table understanding that we eating that same meal, and definitely not thinking that one is so better than the other, because that's that falsehood. We need to be unified.
Yeah, so, as long as that.
So,
you got something, Trey, brother Trey L?
I was just really just soaking it up, in agreement with what she was saying, as far as like having to wake the people up, let them know about the truth of what's going on behind the system. Mm-hmm. And I also noted that that it's a spiritual thing. So that's where the unification, that's where the honesty, that's where the love and the sacrifice is going to need to come from, our people to make this. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that, it seems like we're pleasing the Most High more and more, and for us to be headed in this direction is it's a beautiful thing to me. And I think it's a great idea what she said with the circulations of the 7 cities. I see it as a good thing, especially if in this, of course, in this circulation, we have resources that are provided for our people, so they can so it can, it can spark something within them, because that's what we're trying to do. And then we all know, as you start to learn certain things at certain points, it kind of sparks something in you, and it takes you on a journey. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to take our people on this journey of coming back together, and yeah, I'm just loving the conversation, and I pray all the time that the Most High brings us together in peace, and we put down our pride, and we understand that we all have been raised with different doctrines and things in this world from historical things that have happened. But if we love each other, and we are patient enough with each other, and we're not greedy with each other, like I just see the sky's the limit.
Wow. Anybody else had any thoughts on anything? Yes. I was gonna close out with a chapter from the Circle 7 Quran. Nobody had anything they wanted to add. All right. We have a volunteer to read this chapter.
I have to get my book. I can't see.
Yeah, I could try to read it. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. It says Jesus appears fully materialized to
Materialized.
the materialized, sorry, to the eastern sages in the palace of Prince Ravana in India, to the Magian priest in Persia. The three wise men speak in praise of the personality of the Nazarene. Ravana, prince of India, gave a feast. His palace in Oriza was the place where men of thought from all the farther east were wont to meet. Ravana was the prince with whom the child Jesus went to India with when 12 years old. The feast was made in honor of the wise men of the East. Among the guests were Megsti, Vidyapati, and Lamas. The wise men sat about the table talking of the needs of India and the world. The door upon the banquet hall was in the east. A vacant chair was at the table to the east. And as the wise men talked, a stranger entered unannounced, and raising up his hand in ben, Benet,
Benediction. Benediction.
benediction, said, all haul. A halo rested on his head, and light, unlike the light of sun, filled all the room. The wise men rose and bowed their heads and said, all hail. And Jesus sat down in the vacant chair, and then the wise men knew it was the Jewish prophet who had come. And Jesus said, behold, for I am risen from the dead. Look at my hands, my feet, my side. The Roman soldier pierced my hand and feet with nails, and then one pierced my heart. They put me in a tomb, and then I wrestled with the conqueror of men. I conquered death. I stamped upon him and arose, brought immortality to light, and painted on the walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. And what I did, all men should do. This gospel, this gospel of resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew or Greek. It is the heritage of every man, of every time and clime, and I am here as demonstrator of the power of man. Then he arose and pressed the hand of every man and of the royal host and said, behold, I am not myth made of the fettering winds for fleeting winds, for I am flesh and bone and brawn, but I can cross the borderland at will. And then they talked together there a long time. Then Jesus said, I go my way, but you shall all go to all the world and teach the gospel of the omnipotence,
Omnipotent.
right? Omnipotent. Sorry, I'm struggling to see a little bit. Of men, the power of truth, the resurrection of the dead. He who believes this gospel of the Son of Man shall never die, the dead shall live again. Then Jesus disappeared, but he had shown the seed, the words of life were spoken in Orisha, and all of India heard. The Magan priests were in the silence, and Persalonis and Caspar and the Magan's master, who were the first to greet the child of promise in the shepherd's home in Bethlehem, were with the priest.
So the
And
word,
Jesus,
1 second, the word is magian. Its prefix is magi, just magian, just so you know.
can you say it one more time?
Magian.
Magian. Okay. Thank you. And Jesus came and sat with them. A crown of light was on his head. And when the silence entered, Caspar said, "A master from the royal council of the silent brotherhood is here. Let us give praise." And all the priests and masters stood and said, "All hail. What message from the royal council do you bring?" And Jesus said, "My brothers of the silent brotherhood, peace, peace on earth, goodwill to men. The problem of the age has been solved. A son of man risen from the dead has shown that human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. Before the eyes of men, before the eyes of men, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with speed of light from human flesh, and so I am the message that I bring to you. To you I come, the first of all the race, to be transmuted to the image of Allah. What I have done, all men will do, and what I am, all men shall be. But Jesus said no more. In one short breath, he told the story of his mission to the sons of men, and then he disappeared. The Magi said, "Some time ago, we read this promise, now fulfilled upon the dial plate of heaven. And then we saw this man who has just demonstrated unto us the power of man to raise from carnal flesh and blood to flesh of Allah, a babe in Bethlehem. And after many years, he came and sat with us in these same grooves. He told the story of his human life and trials, sore temptations, buffeting, and woes. He pressed along the thorny way of life till he had risen and overthrown the strongest foe of Allah and man. And he is now the only master of the human race, whose flesh has been transmuted into flesh divine. He is the God man of today, but everyone of earth shall overcome and be like him, a son of Allah.
What's your thoughts on what you read?
Well, you know me as a study of Torah, I feel that, and I know that in Torah that the Most High calls Israel his firstborn son, which is the nation of his people. So it's very new to me, learning of all the things in the Quran. But I know that our roots are in the Torah of Moses, and that is our foundation. So with me having knowledge on that foundation, I know that it is returning to the Most High's way of life as best as we can, that will give us the process and the redemption that we need. Because when we look at our history, it is because we disobeyed the ways of the Most High, is which the reason why we went into exile. When our people got comfortable and our people started taking bribes for justice in the courthouse, when we start abusing the poor and the widows and misusing our power, and being sinful, because we know that in the root, transgression of the law is sin. So I do believe, since I know in the Torah that there is a Messiah to come, and a Messiah means anointed one. And there's been several anointed ones in scripture. So yes, I do believe that there is going to be a person that we can look up to as a prophet or a big brother, so to speak. But in the root of everything, I know it's for us to keep the laws, but I'm also not doubting that some of these things on what I just read may be some truth in how things will happen when that time comes. So
for example,
mm-hmm.
to add on to what you said,
yes,
line 15, the gospel, the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew and Greek. It is the heritage of every man.
Right.
Every time you climb. And I'm here, a demonstrator of the power of man. Now,
yes.
We know the dead state of mind, getting back to, on our case, we're trying to teach our people our illustrious history and culture, nobility, unity, right? That'll be an example of helping our people leave a dead state of mind to a more of awakened, illuminated state of mind, right?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Yeshua, I believe, you've been on the last couple of chapters where Yeshua went through multiple tests to test his flesh, and he won. It was multiple chapters of different scenarios of how he won, of conquering his flesh. And when he makes statements here, like what I can do, every man can do, right? And I think that correlates to what you were saying, man, as far as instructions of the Most High, how you worded it, and that law, that divine law of unity, now we in tune with nature. And, back to looking at other nationality and culture people. I call it heaven on earth, where they're not going through the misuses and abuses that people that don't work together go through. And you see they've been resurrected from a dead state of mind. Or you see the other side of the scale versus people that don't work together, the great misuses that we go through, the lack of businesses, the potholes in the street, the complaining that somebody else doing me wrong because the color of my skin, versus having
accountability.
Accountability, right?
Yeah.
So I essentially share what stood out to me as you were reading. That's what stood out to me, as well. To add on to what you were saying too, man. And keep in mind, man, any holy books is designed for character instruction. So we can't have that unity.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody want to share anything add to that? Benjamin Bay, I know you said something in the chat. You want to elaborate?
Oh no, I was just giving a metaphysical meaning when you were saying like men and man means mind, so it's like minds when he says men, and he's saying Jesus a good bit, and Jesus is justice, and also you said like mission somewhere in there, and that made me think of Noble Drew Ali when he says assist me with my mission to uplift all humanity, and that's basically what Jesus is doing. So just thinking about the consciousness within the figure Jesus that the brother was reading about, and then the conscious Noble Drew Ali, and what their mission was, basically the same thing, dealing with the same people consciously, but in different quote unquote time frames. So the people of Jesus' times are different from the people of Noble Drew Ali's time, but they both were trying to assist in the iron hand oppression of the pale skinned nations, whether that be French, Dutch, uh, British, whomever, and then those in those times were the Romans. So that's what I got from it, to speak on what I was putting in the chat, not to keep it on one dimension. Just make sure you're always thinking that knowing you are the spirit man in flesh. And when you're saying these things such as Jesus and men, these are stepping stones for you to get back to your spiritual nature, or our spiritual nature. But I yield. And honestly, the brother that was reading for sure to spark that thought.
Slime.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Any other thoughts, comments before we close out here?
Islam.
Wow.
Yes, hi, Picola Kusar
Slime.
Islam. So a couple of things that stood out. Being that he was invited to come in the presence of, I can't see it from the higher up, but for the most part, when he went into the area, he was recognized by men of his men that recognized him of the caliber in which they were. They recognized him. And that's just, that stands out to me because you can feel the nature of people. You can feel the vibe. You can feel the energy. And I pretty much, I can imagine that he was very enlightened once he came into the presence of those other, holy men. The other thing that stands out is, you can go down a little bit more. 17, I think it's 17. That's what it is, 17. So 17, behold, I am not myth made of fleeting winds, for I am flesh and bone and brawn, but I can cross the borderland at will. That stands out because we're talking, well, I believe he's speaking about recognizing his spirit contained in the flesh, and that he say what he has done most all men can do, and that is having control of the flesh or the lower nature. And in this regard, I think he's referring to being able to transmute the physical body, especially in the upper numbers, the injuries sustained by the Roman soldiers before he was placed in that container, and for him to wrestle, if you will, and conquer death. That has to do with, people say, what do they say? It's a phrase. It means not out of body, out of mind. It has something to do with basically transmuting the physical, meaning overcoming and having the spirit man control the physical. Meaning,
mind over matter.
Yes, that one. I was trying to sound like matter. Yeah, exactly. Mind over matter. So he's showing that control of these, because through other reading and other education, some people will refer to non-spiritual people. They'll refer to us as being containers. In fact, many years ago, I was a part of a conference, and that conference was MUFON, which is Mutual UFO Network. I was part of that way back in El Paso, Texas. And they were, meaning the powers that be, they were bringing, this knowledge to us that we're containers. And I thought, containers, what is that? It's like, yeah, there's other dimensions and other beings, and they just look at us as just, containers, and they want to, attract our spirit. They want our spirit. And I was like, that's weird. That was many years ago. And I came across a posting, which was a release of information kind of posting, or after so much time, they actually the CIA will divulge their documentation. Well, in that document, I just read that a couple of weeks ago. In that document, it speaks about us being human containers, like we're containers, meaning they understand. And there's another, I think it's called the Gateway Project, where they talk about, the other phenomena of the physical body and of the auric field. They discuss all of that. And this was already taught through these books. Excuse me. This is already taught through the books, and that is that you're a spiritual being in a physical world, experiencing yourself, and you're part and parcel of the whole.
Oh, you went out, then it cut you out. They cut you out.
Yeah,
I can't hear you. But I
can't hear you.
Something happened. Not sure what happened.
Your volume is off. We can't hear you.
All right, mute it and unmute it and see if it comes back on.
Hit the mute button and then unmute. No.
Let's send her a message. Did she come on?
No.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, it might just be technical difficulty because she was having an issue in the beginning.
Yeah, we can't hear you. It's the same thing that happened earlier when you began.
Oh yeah, she just texted back. Wow.
That's all good. It's all good, man.
All right. So yeah, it was good. All right.
Good build. We was in the closing phases anyway. I'll do one more round for thoughts. Anything somebody wanted to add before we close out here? Can't find my last slide. That's crazy. Brother Benjamin Bay, man, you want to go out, close out with the prayer, man? Maybe he's having technical difficulty as well. Does anybody else want to close out on the prayer, brother?
Yeah, I could close out on it. Thank you, Most High, for everything that you do for us. Thank you for everything you protect us from the seen and unseen, from the known and the unknown. We ask to get closer to you more and more every day. We pray that you help heal our everything, our mind, body, and spirit. Let us be leaders to our people. Let us fear you only at heart, Yah, because we know that we are spirits in the vessel. And we thank you. We appreciate you. And we ask that you guide us on these testing journeys, and that we are pleasing servants to you, Father. Amen.
Islam. So next week, 11 a.m. California time. I believe everybody has my contact information. Feel free to reach out during the week. I'm gonna get with you, Trey, later today.
Okay.
Just so we can converse on the documents, and then brother. Okay, I think that's it. That's it. I'm mistaken, but yeah, let's stay connected. Let's build on. Beautiful session.
And me with the height of the card, brother.
Gotcha.
Remember? Yeah.
6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3" instead of 5'11".
Okay. That's what it was. Thank you. That's what
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking too. I
Yeah,
was like,
I put some stuff in the chat too. Video and a few other things in the chat. The date of the conference. You know, I have to have the flyer ready this week. You know, save the date flyer, and I'll send it to you, brother Mafi.
Where the conference gonna be at? It's gonna be on the East Coast?
Yeah, Philadelphia here. Yes.
Oh, you in Philly? Okay, that's not far from me. That's just about a 4 or 5 hour drive. I'm there.
Oh, that's right. I remember. That's right. You here? You not too far from
Yeah.
me. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm in VA.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, definitely get that information to me, brother. I definitely would love to attend.
Um, take my number. That's right. Didn't you text me last?
Nah, we didn't exchange numbers, brother.
Uh, uh, take my number. I can put my number in the chat.
All right, I got you.
I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
All right.
All right, it's in the chat.
You say in the chat how I get there. Hold up.
215 300.
wait.
215